PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Today I am with a brand new guest, Priyanka Deo, and she is a television personality herself. She has been in several Indian channels. Priyanka, before we go into a deeper introduction, welcome to PGurus channel.
Thank you. Namaste everyone. Thanks for having me.
So Priyanka, this is the first time you're coming on PGurus channel. Now you've had your stint in TV9 and then you've also been in Times Group with the core questions. And now you are on a visit to United States, but you're originally from the United States.
Yeah.
Kind of walk us through a little bit about your life journey thus far.
Well, I was born in India, but I moved to the U.S. when I was 3.
Okay.
So I grew up in Chicago, but when I was a junior, I played tennis. So my entire life goal for 15 years was to be a pro tennis player. I played the international circuit, the national circuit. Then I decided to go to college because my coach deflated my ego and said I wasn't good enough. So I was like, all right, cool. So I played for Illinois. And then I thought I wanted to become a lawyer. And I tell you this because I wanted to practice law in India. So, my version of India was always, like I told you before this interview, we were chatting a little bit, but, my family's based in Mumbai and Pune. It was always, visit family, eat really good food, and then get back in a cab and get on the plane. So India wasn't that bad to me as a kid. I'd never seen anything. I'd never really seen the real country. So I thought, coming here and trying to do law would be the way. But, I ended up not liking law. So I then did my master's in LSE, and then I did another master's at USC. I worked in DC for a while. I worked on the Obama campaign. And then I got into Harvard, and then I was asked to actually work on the Modi campaign. So it was like entry 2 into India.
This was in 2014?
This was in 2018. So for the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. And I decided to jump on it because it was my one chance to kind of see the country for what it was. And I think I was a little bit more mature in terms of my career and age, that I was, my parents had enough faith that this girl is going to go through India alive. And then come back. So it was really cool because I started a YouTube channel out of it, which ended up doing really well. And PM Modi shared my work, which I never really expected. And that kind of launched my career into mainstream media after that. So it was a great, unexpected, a lot of good things happened that are unexpected. So,
wonderful.
Yeah.
I'll have Modi hasn't retweeted any of my videos yet.
Oh man, but he will. I'm sure he will. Your videos are very good.
You are an exception.
Maybe it'll be this one right here.
Maybe this one, yes. Yes, indeed. So, getting into television in India, as part of this campaign, did you have to travel a lot, the length and breadth of India?
I did. I traveled to, I would say, from tier 1 to, it's not officially, but unofficially tier 4 India. I went to places like Amity, which I think even some of my friends that have grown up in India, they have never been to the places that I've been to.
But how was the connectivity in a place like Amity?
Terrible. It was, so I think they're doing a lot of infrastructure development now recently over the past few years. But, Amity, I'm glad you asked that question because when we went to Amity, it's like major highway goes into a couple of lanes that goes into a very, very small lane. And Amity is basically like an intersection. I see. Where it's like farms over here, and then the village center is just the one row, and then homes, and then, a few more homes and a hospital. So that's Amity, right? And I think Rahul Gandhi was supposed, that used to be his constituency. Right. So they were supposed to build a flyover, but that flyover obviously never got built. So massive infrastructure problems there. And, when we went there, it was like the hot summer in India. So it was like, I think 48 degrees Celsius.
I know, it gets so hot in North India.
And of course we were, the whole crew was along. So my camera guys were along with me. I was there. The editor was there. A couple more people were there. And of course the AC, the air conditioner stopped working on the way So we were like, okay, well now what do we do? So we just decided we weren't going anywhere because it was that much traffic all into one small lane, and everyone was honking the horn. So we just said, we need to get our shots. We need to go and see. We need to talk to people in Amity. Let's just walk, right? Because the car can just follow.
Right.
So that's what we decided to do. What happened though was there was an ambulance that was the siren was wailing. And my camera guy was a big guy, so in the heat he was not the most comfortable.
He was probably melting more.
He was melting, and he got so irritated at this ambulance that because sometimes they just wail the siren for no reason.
Yes,
but he went there, and the guy actually said, the driver, that no, we have a guy there. We need him to go to the hospital. So then, sure enough, there was a guy in the back, and the hospital was 200 meters away, and there was so much traffic that this poor ambulance couldn't get through. So my camera guys and a couple of other people, we garnered a sort of 6 men who were trying to lift this guy up from the stretcher and take him
to the.
He didn't make it. So that's how bad the infrastructure was there, and these are the types of things that we saw. So along with the tremendous positive development in India, there's still a country that faces its challenges, right? And it was one of the saddest things that I've seen, because the poor guy didn't make it. But then when we got to the hospital and saw the state of the hospital, we were like, well,
50-50
probably, yeah, it's not even 50-50. It was so bad. But on the ground, we've really seen PM Modi making changes that I've not seen when I was a kid, going into villages, and my family's from Sangli, and that place has completely changed in the past 20 years. But even some of the villages that we would pass by, they had nothing there. And now that I've been to all the villages, we definitely see the toilets, we see the electricity, we see the LPG connections, the gas connections, internet. People have internet over there. We see some tech centers over there.
Right.
So it's almost easier to get your Aadhaar card in one of these small places than it is in New Delhi. So a lot of different changes have taken place. So it was really refreshing to kind of see that change, and interesting, to say the least.
Well, viewers, I just have to tell you this. We are having our own Amity moment right here in the United States. the AC is only notionally working, and I'm basically...
We're melting here.
You're melting here too. So when the sun decides to participate, he comes in.
Yeah, you can see it, right? It's coming directly on me. Well, I'm shading you, so if anyone has to melt, I'll melt first, I think.
So if you were in tier 3-4 cities,
Yeah.
so you really needed to converse with them in Hindi.
Yeah.
तो आपकी हिंदी कैसी है?
मेरी हिंदी अच्छी है. I definitely learned it on the spot, because it was, so I could always speak Hindi, I could understand it, but when you live in the US and you grow up in Chicago, you never speak it every day, right? You speak it kind of like on off, whenever needed. So it was rusty at first, but then, and even in Mumbai for that matter, nobody speaks Hindi in Mumbai, right?
No, that is Mumbai version of it.
Yeah, they speak like English, but it's more English than it is.
Yes.
So it's actually I don't know, start with, I don't know how to say it, but basically more English than Hindi. Every time I went, I spoke in nothing but English. So, the Hindi that exposure I had was Hindi movies and Hindi songs that I would listen to all the time.
Right.
But New Delhi, if you don't know how to speak Hindi and good Hindi, people are going to take you for a ride.
Yes, that's true.
So you had to learn it really, really quickly. And, I actually met my husband while I was here. So I was supposed to stay just 9 months for the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. And then I met my husband at the Mughal Gardens, actually. And then I guess, 4 years later, I'm still there. So my Hindi's definitely improved. And it kind of worked out, because I don't look like a person that would be in Amity residing there.
Yes.
So it worked to my advantage, because a lot of people were like, oh, Gori ma'am, she's come, and they would just all want to come and talk to you.
Right,
but it just showed especially the youth over there, it just showed that people wanted their opinions voiced. They wanted a platform where they could speak up. And that's something I never saw before in India.
Right.
I saw people, kind of agreeing to everything, or maybe because they didn't have a platform at that time. But now they're unafraid. I mean, people would just come up to me and start speaking, and some would even, take the mic from my hand and be like, here's what I want to say. So my job wasn't all that hard.
So when you were at Amity, did you sense that the ground was slipping from under Rahul's feet?
Yeah, and I think those videos are still up on New India Junction. You could see people were very frustrated, and I don't blame them. We were frustrated for the 2 hours that we were there. We couldn't wait to get out, but there's no infrastructure there. There's no facilities there. If you needed to go to a hospital, it was so gross that you didn't even feel like stepping in. And it wasn't just us. It wasn't just me who's not used to seeing a hospital like that. The residents themselves were like, listen, this is the state, and this is a VIP constituency. It's unbelievable, which was absolutely true. And the sad part about it was that, we put these videos out on social media, and people kind of accuse me of planting people there to say all these things. And I was like, no, go there yourself and you'll be saying these things. It's not made up at all. And we did this in a bunch of places. And it's like I said, it's a country that is definitely growing. And there's a lot of positive development. But with that, it would be really nice to see places like this kind of rise.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you met your husband, you got married. And so along this, there was a parallel track of your career. You were at TV9, and then now, of course, at Times Group.
Yes.
These were based out of Delhi or in Mumbai?
They were everything based out of Delhi because of COVID, right? So
the Noida area.
The Noida area, the Gurgaon area, and the central Delhi area.
Right.
So kind of got a flavor of the entire Delhi NCR region, which was very, very interesting. It's almost like North India and South India are a totally different culture in terms of food, in terms of language, in terms of everything. So it was. But now you've seen it, and I'm living there, and I've enjoyed it. So it's I found love there, I guess. So.
Yeah, I've been to your offices. At that time, Anand Narasimhan was still there.
Oh, okay.
At times.
Yeah.
2018, 19.
Yeah, he's still anchoring. He's still anchoring, but not at times anymore. Yeah, but he does.
I was just trying to give you a timeline that this is when I was there.
A long time ago. It's been a minute. Yeah.
Anyway, so from a anchoring perspective, you did the YouTube channel has its own challenges. Like, for example, now you record footage in Amity, your editor gets into the zone, he gets the final cut, and uploading that is the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
When you went in front of a television, what were some of the challenges you had?
I think I didn't really have any challenges, actually. I think that once you report, I feel that if you hadn't gone on the field to report and see all of these issues firsthand, then it would be even more challenging just to read, a teleprompter and sort of talk about these issues on camera. I didn't really face the challenge because I'd seen it firsthand, right? I knew what the experience was like. I'd spoken to these people. I'd gone on the ground. I'd walked in that heat, walked around, got the pulse of the place. And so even, it makes it very easy when the teleprompter goes out, you know exactly what to say. You know how to carry the conversation. You know the depth of the subject.
Correct.
So I think it almost you have to be a reporter before you become an anchor. An effective anchor, because I just feel it helped me at least delve deeper into issues, which is why I think some of the videos got the amount of traction that they did.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you're back in the United States. By the way, you come across much more spontaneous in this than when I saw you in some of your TV shows.
Oh.
Your YouTube was much more spontaneous. This is something that I'm noticing because I've done much more YouTube lately. So whenever I go back and get called for television shows, I'm looking at the formality of the anchor and the other guests and saying, no, this is not who I am. You need to be a little bit more chillaxed, a little bit more expressive.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I mean, I've not been going much lately. What are your future plans? I mean, you want to get back and try your hand at YouTube channel because another election is right around the corner.
Yeah.
And are you going to dust off your old channel and then try and see what you can do, or any plans? That
Yeah,
you would like
well,
to
I've already kind of kickstarted my YouTube channel. Core Questions by the Times of India is a show that I anchor, so I'm having fun with that. That's really great because that covers kind of positive development and India's growth story. So you can cover a lot of interesting topics. And I think my YouTube channel is much more me, right? As you said, YouTube needs to be a little bit of your personality.
Correct.
So I think my YouTube videos are probably a little bit more me than, Core Questions by the Times of India, which is a script that I write and a script that obviously my team helps me put together and fact checks. And, then it becomes automatically a little bit more formal because of the audience. But I think...
So this is a live show or tape it?
It is taped. It is recorded. And then we put it out.
Sorry, taped is such an old word. Now it's recorded.
It's recorded.
You don't have those big tapes anymore.
It's pre-recorded. Pre-recorded and then put out. But I think YouTube is it is pretty spontaneous, right?
Yes,
so
yes,
if you're not yourself on YouTube, then I think it's not fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and I think people like seeing authenticity, right? So
Of
even
course,
even if there's a blip.
The gaps are permitted.
Hey,
let me put it this way.
Yeah,
gaps
pretty much. Which is on TV channels and anchoring, formal anchoring, where there are tapes. That's more of a it looks bad on professionality because they're supposed to be perfect. But that's the magic of digital, right? That's why I think digital is more fun than broadcasting actually in some ways. So. You would know.
I know. This interview wouldn't be complete without me asking you, what's your prognosis for 2024?
I think it's going to be Modi all the way. And a lot of people have asked me this. And I'll tell you why. I really don't care what your political leaning is, or I can agree to disagree. Even here, like some of my best friends are Democrats, Republicans, across the spectrum. But what I saw in India is that the amount of change that has happened in the tier 3 and tier 4, which is still a major part of the country, majority of the country, I would say. It's easy in big cities to talk about, this has not been done, and that's true to an extent because very little has been done to help the people, the people that I guess are in the highest tax bracket, right? That pay the most taxes. But I would say that in a country of that size and that demographic and according to circumstances, unless you uplift the poor, the country will never pick up, right? It'll never grow unless you uplift all the poor people. And that is something that has changed since Modi has come to power. I mean, he's got such tremendous support from these people because I've interviewed people in Haryana in a village. A lady would tell me, a kid would tell me, before snakes would come into our house. So while doing our work, we had to watch out for snakes. This is something like growing up in Chicago, but this is not a problem, right? At all. It's terrifying, but now they have, the kacha house has turned into a pakka house.
Right.
And now they actually have a house and a roof over their heads where they can study. The women have these gas connections. The cylinders are coming in. The toilets are working. These women used to show me in another village that we went to, which is the video that PM Modi shared, actually. They showed me where they went to the bathroom before.
I know.
This included, pregnant women in the middle of the night going there. And I went into that area. There were mosquitoes there. I think either I was terrified of snakes after hearing that kid, but I'm pretty sure there were snakes over there. I wouldn't imagine having to undergo that.
Right.
And now they have toilets all of a sudden. So for them, this is a really big deal. And for those types of things to continue, it has really helped to uplift. Now, suddenly you see a youth generation that is going, they know computers, they know they want jobs. I had people in tier 3 coming to me, giving me their resume saying, hey, how do I get an internship, which you would not have, they would not have done that 10 years ago.
Right.
So this is where I think the PM gets a lot of support, and this is a majority of the country that is going to vote. And I think that he is going to win bigger than what he did in 2019. That's my estimate. I could be wrong. That's my guess. But I think it's going to be Modi all the way in 2024.
Well, Priyanka, this was a fascinating conversation. I didn't feel like I was meeting you for the first time.
Great.
Like,
That's always a good thing.
We're just sharing notes from, from whatever. And very candid and very refreshing.
Thank you.
To the point. And I'm sure you're going to get a lot of subscribers from our channel coming and watching you.
Thank you.
Stuff. And we're hoping that we'll have you back for more such conversations.
Awesome. I'd love to be back.
And let's stay in touch. And then, of course, I'll send you the link as soon as this airs.
Great.
And thank you so much. Namaskar.
Thank you. Namaste, everyone.